Welcome students to the last part of this chapter. We have already studied about the mixtures, isn't it? So now recently we have on the part 3 of this chapter we have talked about why the separation is very much essential. So now let's talk about the methods of separating the mixtures. Okay, from the early stage we will discuss one by one. Okay, so next slide in front of you. So here see two methods are shown. One is hand picking and one is winnowing. What is hand picking actually? I've given an example on the last part of the third part of the video. What I have given that by hand picking off some stones from the rice we can. This is an example of the separation of the mixtures, isn't it? So sometimes what happens when we bring rice or wheat or pulses, there are some small pieces of stones as were mixed with them. So those are undesirable substance for us. We don't need this. We have to remove from our food this. Okay. So what we will do? We will hand pick it one by one the stones and we will separate them. Okay. Second is the winnowing. So what is winnowing actually? We have seen a farmer separating the wheat grains from the husk in the field, isn't it? So this farmer will allow the mixture of wheat and husks to fall down from a height. And what will happen? The wind will carry the lighter husk with it and the wheat grains become heavier, will fall vertically down to the ground. And so the husk and the wheat grains will be separated. Okay, these are two methods. Next method we'll talk about here is the sieving and magnetic separation. So sieving is what actually here we sieve. Okay, sometimes we sieve the flour. So we sieve it because the undesirable materials may be attached with them. So we before cooking something or before making the rotis and all, we just sieve with the flour. Then magnetic separation, we have talked already about how iron and sulfur was on the part 3 of the video. We have talked about the iron fillings and sulfur, how they are separated. So by magnetic separation is another example that we can separate the iron fillings because it will be attached to the magnet, as the magnet will be near to it, and then iron fillings and sulfur will get separated. Okay. So now we will study one by one some type of other chemical means we have to know how the separation is done there of the mixtures. So next slide is in front of you. See here sublimation. What is this actually? Here any solid will heat directly to the gas. Like an ice is converted to water, then water to gas form, isn't it? But here in sublimation what happens? Directly from solid it will be heated up and will convert to gas without forming any liquid form. And when the gas will be cooled, then one pure substance will be collected. Now see an example of ammonium chloride here. Ammonium chloride is given there with common salt. Together it is mixed. Both are solid form. But as soon as the china dish will be heated up, okay, one funnel is an inverted funnel and with a cotton plug in the above because air cannot pass through it, then what will happen? Immediately the ammonium chloride will vaporize up because common salt can't be a gas. So by heating the mixture, ammonium chloride what will happen? It will just vaporize up, and as the funnel in the neck portion it will be colder, it will be solidified there. Okay, as it is solidified, then ammonium chloride will be again collected from there, and in the china dish salt will be remain. So this is a example of sublimation. Okay, now let's see next example, that is sedimentation and decantation. So what happens in sedimentation, decantation? Okay, just think whatever mixture we'll take, like here we have taken sand and liquid together, all sand and liquid is mixed up. Slowly what happened? After some time we'll give them it settle it. We'll give the liquid to settle. Slowly the sand will be sediment on the down. That is sedimentation. And when that upper clear liquid will be collected on any other container, the top layer of the water. Okay, that sand will not be disturbed, on the top water will be collected. That is known as the what? Decantation. Okay, this is a simple example for you all. Next we will talk about what? The loading. Now what is loading actually? What can you see here? We can see one alarm here. Fitkiri we say, no, that is the alarm. Okay, sometimes what happen? Muddy water is there. So muddy water will be very much more time will be needed to settle the mud. Okay, then what we will do? Then we have to use some chemical alarm there. Means chemically this should be separated. We'll keep the alarm there. Then what will happen? The alarm will react with that muddy water and it will give the mud to settle it down. Let's see the next picture in front of you. What is happening here? Can you see? In the first there was alarm here, and on the second what is that? The alarm helped the sand to settle down, and in the upper part we will get the clear liquid. Okay, this process is known as the loading. Okay students, so next let's go to a separation technique of next in front of you. This is filtration. Filtration is what? Here what happens, like the tea, no, the tea when we take in a cup of tea, when you have boiled it, then you have taken a cup of tea, we put a filter there. Okay, that filter will be what? It will keep the tea leaves there and the main tea will be collected and we will have it. But now see this experiment, what happened here? Some mixture is there. That mixture is of some chalk water. Okay, chalk and water is mixed together. Now what will happen? There is one filter paper. Okay, this filter paper will be in a funnel. Okay, and as soon as the chalk water and the mixture of chalk and water will be poured there, then the water will be collected in the conical flux, that is the filtrate. And whatever will be left on the funnel, means on the filter paper, this is known as a residue, and this is known as a what? Filtration. This was done before. This can be done in case of sand and water also. But nowadays what happens? Nowadays this AquaGuard is used, or any other company is using their filtration procedure. Okay, here some special type of resins are used to filter the solid particles which is present in the air, water. Means these are undesirable substances. It is done electrolytically. Okay, this is known as what? The filtration. Okay, so now we'll go to an important part, that is the centrifugation. What is centrifugation actually? This process is what? Separating the fine suspended solid particles from a solid liquid mixture by rotating the mixture in a centrifuge called centrifugation. Mainly centrifugation is used in the laboratories or pathological laboratories or diagnostic. Okay, it is used mainly to separate the blood cells from the blood, to test the blood cells. So what is happen there? They will put the mixture. Okay, like the washing machine, no, it rotates. It will rotate in that way. Okay, in the tube, you can see the test tube. It will be, the samples will put there, and it in a very high speed it will be rotated. After rotation, what will happen? The solid and the liquid mixture will be separated out. Okay, so that is a centrifugation. Now we'll talk about another example. This is very easy. That is a evaporation. What is evaporation actually? Here also one mixture is taken, salt and water mixture is taken here. Okay, then Bunsen burner is there. What will happen? Obviously water will evaporate, and what will remain? Salt will remain there. So this is a very simplest way of separating a solid and a liquid, which will involve a liquid and a gas. Okay, and this is known as what? Evaporation. This is very easy for you all. Next we'll talk about the crystallization. So what is crystallization then? What happens here? Copper sulfate solution is taken here. Okay, there's a very pure sample of soluble substance, it will form crystals. When it will be what? Here there is in a solution type, isn't it? Copper sulfate is in solution, means water content is there. But if it will be boiled, that boiling water will evaporate slowly what? The solution, and only the copper sulfate crystals will be remain there. Means solid we will get it. That is the crystallization. Okay. So next again we will talk about what? The distillation. This is very important, students. Why I am saying important? Because here both are liquid, we have to separate. Here acetone and water is given. Okay, acetone and water are both are what? In a liquid form. If both are on the liquid form, how we will separate it now? Okay, let's see. See here, one cork is given. In up of the cork, another fractionating column is there. There one thermometer is there. Okay, then from there one water outlet is there and water condenser is there. That water condenser is also known as the Liebig's condenser. Okay, it is also known as Liebig, L-E-I-B-E-G apostrophe S, Liebig's condenser. Here what happened? Why this condenser is put there? Because one side water will be out, one side water will be in, cold water will be in there. You can see the arrow sign, no? This is here to keep that funnel, means that tube, cold. The water will be up and down because one side is heated up, isn't it? If here we know acetone will also heat up and water will be also heat up. So now how we will know that which one has been collected there? Always remember water is denser. Okay, so water has a boiling point of 100 degrees Celsius, but acetone is quicker than water in boiling point. Okay, acetone will evaporate faster than the water. So what will happen? When the acetone will be heated up and water together, acetone will rise. By the thermometer we can take the reading, and what will happen? When this acetone will go through that water condenser, it will be cooled there and slowly it will be what? Collected on the another flux. Acetone is written there in the conical flux, it will be that collected there. And what will happen? This water will, before getting to 100 degrees Celsius, this acetone will be collected and water will be left there. Okay, so this is known as what? The distillation. Next we'll talk about the separating mixture by using separating cannel. Okay, so separating mixture by separating cannel is what? Here we know about talking about oil and water. So oil and water, we know that oil floats on water, isn't it? Because oil is less denser than the water. It is much lighter than the water. So what will happen? We'll pour the mixture of water and oil together. And do you remember water and oil is what type of mixture? We have talked about homogeneous and heterogeneous. So what mixture actually it is? If we can see it separately, this is a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, so this mixture will keep in the separating funnel. There is a stopcock there. Slowly we will keep it, let it stand undisturbed, and we will not touch it for some time. Then they will form one layer. Two layers will be there. One is of oil, one is of water. Denser will be in below and lighter will be in above. Obviously water will be in below and oil will be in above. So when these two layers will form, slowly we'll open the stopcock. And as soon as we'll open the stopcock, the water will be gone out, and then we can again tighten the stopcock and oil will be remain in the separating funnel. So these two mixtures, these two are immiscible liquids, means they cannot be mixed. Okay, they are not miscible liquids, they are immiscible liquids. So then we can separate it by separating funnel. So till here the chapter is finished of elements, compounds and mixture. Hope you have enjoyed this. Okay, so I'm thanking you. I'm leaving here.